We're starting a series in Advent, and isn't this lovely? Isn't it beautiful? Um, so thank you to our little Christmas fairies. There's two of them. I'm sure there's a few more that have been helping out. In fact, I think there's three of them who have been Christmasifying our church. It's beautiful, and it's going to help us as we focus on our series in Advent. Now, every week on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I have the real privilege and blessing of driving Josh to daycare over at the hub. We live over in Rayworth, and so we come all the way across. And the way that we come at the moment is via all the farms. We end up driving past this. It's just out the front of Maitland Library. To which Joshy immediately asks, "Dad, is it Christmas today?" And he asked this on Monday. And then he asked it on Tuesday. And then he asked it on Wednesday. And then the next Monday he asked it again. And I fully expect that for the next, 4 weeks, it'll be, "Dad, is it Christmas today?" And this, I just, there's no better day, I think, in the lives of a little boy or girl than Christmas Day. That is just peak everything. Nothing can beat Christmas Day. And so it gets more and more exciting until the day comes. We've got we're going to we don't put our Christmas tree up until after Jonathan's birthday, which is on Wednesday as well. And so we'll put it up probably over the weekend, and that'll be exciting. And then the week after that is carols, and so we'll come down to carols, and that'll be exciting again. And then the school will put on their carols performance, and so we'll go to that. And then we go down to my in-laws down in Sydney. They live in one of this, it gets recommended on Facebook groups in Sydney. Is this is the street in Sydney you go to for Christmas lights, and you turn up there and you can't drive down the street because there's too many people. It's amazing, huge lights everywhere, and so the kids are Christmas. Oh my goodness, wow! And then you start, there'll be letters to Santa, and then there'll be all the other things that come with looking forward to Christmas. Each day getting a little bit closer, each day getting a little bit more excited about what Christmas is going to be. And for us as adults in the room, particularly for us who've done Christmas a lot and got a bit it's Christmas, and the Christmas is a land of I have to do a lot of things for Christmas. Our kids have a lot to teach us about what the season of Advent is about. The season of Advent is really about looking forward. It's about waiting. It's about hoping. It's about looking about what is to come. And every step that brings us closer is one more step to celebrate. It's the question, Dad, is it Christmas today? It's Advent is a Latin word. I don't know if you know this. It comes from the word adventus, which means coming, something that's coming or something that's arriving. The heartbeat of it, of the season for a Christian, is to lean into this idea of patient waiting, or something's coming, and so I'm expecting it to come, and everything that it comes with that. The Hebrews have got a wonderful word for this. It's the word kavah. Here's another word for you for Hebrew. By the end, you're going to be able to read the Bible in Hebrew. It's only going to take us ballpark 85 years. We've got 14 words now, and I'm sure you know them all. Kavah is one. A really helpful way to think about what kavah is. If you're a new guitar player, or if you've got a guitar player in your house and you're not a guitar player, you'll know this feeling. Because they'll come and they'll snap a string, and they've got to change the string. And so they put a new string on, and they start tuning it. The first is there's nothing. And you start tuning and tuning, and finally get a note, and then the note starts getting higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And then finally it reaches the note where you, as a not guitar player, go, "That's ballpark right." And then they keep turning. And you go, "Oh," and it goes up another one and up another note. And you're like, this thing is going to snap. You need to stop. But there's still 3 more tones that they got to get through before they finally get to the right note. And you're like, And that's what kavah is. It's the tension builds and builds and builds until the point where you're like, it's going to snap. You got to do something. And this is kavah. And our kids feel this all the way through Advent. This is what it's just everything gets more tense and more tight, and Christmas gets closer and closer and closer. And God is inviting you and I into this feeling as well. This feeling of kavah, to stand in a place of rising tension in my life, in my family's life, in my workplace, in my world. And then in the midst of all that tension and nervousness and what's going to happen, to practice patient waiting. Waiting that is not hurried. Waiting that is not worried. Waiting that is in a place of total confidence that my God is in control. My God knows what he's doing. He is not afraid. He is not scared. He is not surprised. And so I will wait for him to act. You see, as we wait for the Messiah to come at Christmas, we're invited together to look beyond Christmas to the time when the Messiah will come again, and to look forward to that day. Christmas is the celebration, obviously, of Jesus coming to the world, of God becoming flesh. We use the word Emmanuel. It's another Hebrew word. We're doing well. Wow, we're going to do it twice as fast. Emmanuel, another Hebrew word for you. It just means God is with us. God walking around his people as this living temple, this tabernacle, this presence that's among the people. It's this incredible truth of Jesus not taking equality with God as something to be grasped or held onto, not something to take advantage of, but something to be surrendered. That I could give this as well and come and be for those. He will become sin for those who. He will become sin, though he knew no sin. But that's only half the story. We live in a broken world. It takes us 30 seconds to realize how broken our world is. A world that fills us with grief. You know, we've just prayed, and Russell's just prayed for those who are sick in the Trott family. And I know you have people in your life who are sick. I know that you've had surgery. You've had someone in your family has had surgery. Someone in your family has had cancer. Someone in your family has lost someone this year. We look to our young people, and it's not just the young people where mental health issues are continually on the rise. We sit in the place of shattered friendships, either from our own choices or from choices that were not ours. And we come to realize as well that the way that we act, you do something and then you immediately regret that you said that. I mean, how much of us, especially those who are married, have got into that place where you said something and immediately went, I didn't mean it like that. Didn't want to say it like that. I didn't want you to feel like that after I said it. And yet time and time again, this is just the world that we live in. I wonder if you too this year have sat in a place where you have begged that Jesus would come back today so I don't have to deal with what's coming tomorrow. If it's not you, I can tell you it's someone in this room. And this is right at the heart of Advent. Advent is a time when we are called not just to look forward to Christmas, but to mourn the state of our world. And to pray and wait for the day that Jesus will come again. And when we begin to think like this, we begin to think like the psalmists and the prophets of the Hebrew scriptures. See, when Adam and Eve took the fruit, God, instead of giving them the punishment they truly deserve, he actually gives them a promise. And the promise is that one day someone's going to come, and he's going to be the seed of the woman. He's going to be a human, and this human, he's going to come, and one day he will crush the snake's head, and you won't have to worry about the snake anymore. But you need to be aware that even as he crushes the snake's head, the snake is going to turn and bite him. It's like page 3. You've got this idea of there's going to be someone to come who's going to save everybody, but it's going to cost him a great deal. And so after that, Adam and Eve, they eventually have a son called Seth. And then from Seth, we wait, I think it's 7 generations. And after 7 generations of people, we get Noah. And then Noah does the whole flood thing, and they look to him, and you go, oh, maybe Noah's the guy. But as soon as he gets off the boat, we just relive the whole story again, and it all falls to pieces again. And so we wait another 10 generations, and there's a guy called Abraham shows up. And you're like, oh, maybe it's this guy Abraham. And we follow Abraham for a bit, and we just see that he's as bad as everyone else was, if not worse. And so you look to his son, and Isaac, and then Jacob. And Jacob, we call him the deceiver because his behavior is so abhorrent all the way through. And yet, still, God says it's going to be be one of you. There's going to be a son, and they're going to come. And so we watch through Jacob, and eventually we get to Joseph, and we get to Moses. And then off the back of that, 400 years later, that Moses turns up and leads his people out. It's another 400 years before we get someone who's like Moses, and that person is called David. And we get all excited because this guy called David has just given his heart wholly to the Lord. And we look at the way that he's taken on the kingship and the way that he leads the people. And you go, wow, this might be the person. Finally, someone who's going to do the right thing. Finally, someone's going to put God first in their life. And then again, we see the story of Bathsheba as one of many stories in David's life that then it all begins to unravel and fall apart. And so the prophets start dreaming of there's going to be one like David, a son of David. And he's going to come. And when will he come? 400 years later, still no son, to the point where Israel is in such a mess that God sends him into exile. And he says, no longer can I call you my people. No longer will I be your God. This has gone too far. And so sends them into exile. They are in there for 80 years until finally they are brought back out. 400 years following that, God does not speak a word. There's no book of the Bible written. And generation after generation after generation after generation are just waiting. God, you said one was going to come. When we read our Old Testament, I think we lose sight of this, of just how many people waited for Jesus. How many people lived their life, were born and died without any idea of what the Messiah actually looked like. They waited for thousands of years. And now we join them, waiting thousands of years for his return. And I cannot make a promise that he will return in your life or in my life or my children's life. He has just said that one day he will come back. And until that day, the job for us is to look forward to him coming, to prepare our hearts for him coming. All of this is wrapped up in this word that we call hope. Another one of our funny English words, because you can hope for a lot of things. I hope that I'll win the lottery one day, I suppose. I've never bought a ticket, so I suspect many of you haven't, and so that's going to be quite difficult, but I believe God can do all things, so I'm excited for that. I'm also not sure I actually want the money, but there you go. You know, I could hope for that. I hope, and I wrote this on Thursday, that my English team turn up to bat once this Ashes series. Hasn't happened yet. Excited. It's going to be one day that maybe they'll score, I don't know, more than 10 runs between them. That would be nice. I hope for that. What else do I hope? I hope that I've lost my list of things I hope for. I hope that I find that. What's key is faith is not blind. And the hope that we hold to is not like those hopes that we just put out there and go, well, I hope that this happens, but I base it on no evidence, no history. It's just things that I hope for. But the hope that I hope for when I look towards the cross, when I look towards the resurrection, when I look towards Jesus coming back, that faith is not built, is not blind. I place my hope in the character of my God, who has proved himself over and over and over and way above my expectations. For his faithfulness in my life, I put my hope that one day Jesus will come and he will wipe away every tear. And so as we look towards hope, I want to give you a prayer for hope, a prayer that would help you in this season, a prayer that you can pray over and over again because it's really easy to find, because it's a psalm, it's a psalm, and we call it Psalm 130. Worth noting as well at the start, it's called a Song of Ascents. I really like Song of Ascents, and I like people I like that we've got some worship leaders trying to write Songs of Ascent at the moment. I think it's really cool. A Song of Ascent is a song for Israelites as they walk towards Jerusalem. They would go on pilgrimage a few times a year to offer sacrifices at the temple. And so as they walked, they would sing these songs with one another to encourage one another, to lift their spirits and to encourage them all as they walk along, to give their hearts to God as they walk. That it's not just the act at the temple that's meaningful, but it's the journey that they walk to, and surely that is true of us too, who are pilgrimages walking together a journey towards the Lord. And may I encourage you as we read this psalm that you too would give your heart to the Lord. It's the point of it all. So here we go. Out of the depths I cry to you, Lord, Lord, hear my voice. Let your ears be attentive to my cry for mercy. For if you, Lord, kept a record of sins, Lord, who could stand? But with you there is forgiveness, so that we can with reverence serve you. I wait for the Lord, my whole being waits, and in his word I put my hope. I wait for the Lord more than the watchmen wait for the morning. More than the watchmen wait for the morning. Israel, put your hope in the Lord, for with the Lord is unfailing love, and with him is full redemption, and he himself will redeem Israel from all their sins. Psalm 130, which opens with a cry from the depths, from the pit. The words that you sort of think of is the waters from Genesis 1. Do you remember how Genesis 1 starts? And there's this Spirit of God hovering over this watery mess that we just call chaos land. That's the waters that the psalmist is playing around with. It's this idea of he's calling from this place where the waves are crashing over him, and there's not much light, and there's certainly no hope. There's no one on earth that can save him, because there's almost no one on earth. He's in a place where humanity cannot get to. And so he lifts his eyes up to heaven and says, Lord, only you can save me. Only you can reach me. Hear my cry to you. We can end up in the pit for a number of reasons. Generally, it's either your actions, someone else's actions, or it's God's actions. We can find our way into the pit because of the way that we treat the people around us, the way that we live our life, the way that I'm faithful or unfaithful towards the Lord. We can find ourselves in the pit because of someone else's actions towards us, or God can lead us into this place to teach us. The implications of this psalm is probably he recognizes his sin. The suggestion being it's probably his own actions that have brought him to the pit. But the beauty of this psalm is you can sing this whether it's your actions, or whether it's not your actions, whether it's God's actions, or whether you're not even in the pit. We are invited to look at the world around us and bring our cry to God, trusting that he will hear my prayer and that he will come and act for me. And so just watch the faith of this psalmist. He presents his request, and then he just simply waits. Await for the Lord. It's the absolute confidence in God's faithfulness for his works in the past that we trust that he will act in the future. To wait patiently. It's right at the heart of what we're talking about in this Advent season. To wait patiently for God to do what he is going to do. Which doesn't mean I don't have a part to play. You and I absolutely have a part to play. And waiting, the idea of us just simply waiting for Jesus to come back, we know is not true. He has given us a call on our lives. He's given us a call on our church community. But everything that I do comes out of a belief that God is going to act. And so just as the watchmen would sit and they would wait for the morning to come, they would sit. So many cities, but Jerusalem is built on a huge hill, and so the watchmen would sit and they would look potentially at armies marching past or armies camped not far away. And with the night comes danger of what is there going to be an attack come that we cannot see. And I look on all sides of the city trying to find where they are. But the night is perilous. It's dangerous. What comes in the night? What is out there lurking in the shadows? And so the watchmen, they wait. They wait for the morning because they trust that when the morning comes, they will be able to see the land for what it is. And so the psalmist calls, just like those watchmen, turn and wait for the first signs of light. You and I too are called to wait and look and watch with the expectation that God's light would break into our world again. And so what if Christmas this year, what if these next 4 or 5 weeks for us was a time that we spent expecting God's light once again to come into our world? The psalmist, it's beautiful. He turns from, it starts the psalm starts with him in the pit, crying out to the Lord and crying out for salvation from him. But do you notice how it switches at the end? And all of a sudden, it's no longer about the psalmist, it's about the people of Israel. Israel and all of God's people, you and I, by association in that, put your hope in the Lord. Why? Because he, again, even in the pit, has found who God is. Even in the place of distress, chaos, of grief, of mourning, he knows who God is. And he calls it his unfailing love. We looked at this word in our series. It's the word hesed. It's one of the most famous words in Hebrew. It's everything. All that we did in Hosea, those 5 sermons we did, is all about the word hesed. It's all about God's faithfulness to us, even though we are unfaithful. It's God's love for us simply because he loves us, because he loves us, because he loves us. And his love is stronger than our unfaithfulness. And so, I would encourage you as you pray this, and I would encourage you to pray this week, to put your own name in this. Tom, put your hope in the Lord, for with him is unfailing love, and with him is full redemption, and he himself will redeem you from all your sins. Put your name in and pray it for yourself. Would this be a prayer for us as we look forward to Christmas, as we hope for all that day is going to bring, because we hope that Christmas is going to be smooth, that our great uncle is going to behave himself this year, praise God. But what we really hope for, and what Advent is calling us to look towards, is that day, is we wait for that day. And we pray and we hope and we wait and we dream that God will just bring the day of Jesus one day closer. Would you come back, Lord Jesus? Take us home. Wipe the tears from our eyes. In the season of Advent, what we want to do as a preaching team is try and give you some really practical things to help you. We're not very good at liturgy in the Baptist church. We're not very good at history, and that's okay. Liturgy has its place, though. And so what I want to try and do for you is like Baptist liturgy. Doing a practice that's going to help us focus on something more than what's just happening in front of me. And so to that end, what I've done is I think I've got a picture. Or I've got a recipe for you. I would like you to bake some bread this week. This recipe comes from a book called Sacred Seasons. It's by someone called Danielle Hitchens. It's a really helpful book. I've really enjoyed it. It's a book about the seasons of the church and how you might be able to celebrate them in your church with your family. And so if you've never known what to do on All Saints Day, it's like, here's an idea of what you could do. Or if you go through Lent and go, I don't really want to recognize Lent as a family, it's got some ideas. It's also got some ideas for Advent, and this is one of them. This is a very simple recipe for baking a loaf of bread. You only need 4 ingredients, and one of them is water, and another one is salt. So you don't need to, it's not going to be a lot of effort to make this. The point of this, though, is it's a slow bake recipe. It's a no-knead loaf. And so what you normally do is you would sit at like 7, 8 o'clock at night, and you would mix all the dough together, and then you would go to sleep, and you would wake up in the morning, and then there's your loaf of bread, and you bake it in the oven, and now you've got wonderful bread for the morning. What I would encourage you to do, especially if you've got children, or if you can steal a child from someone, and then do this with them, but do it at the start of the day. Do it at like breakfast time. We're going to make some bread today. Oh, wow, that sounds really great. Come and make the loaf with me. Come and mix the dough, prepare it, and then put it on the counter so that everyone can see it. Because what are they going to do? Dad, is it crisp? Is the bread ready yet? Is it ready yet, Dad? Is it ready? Dad, is it ready yet? Dad? Are we able to bake the bread yet, Dad? Is it ready yet, Dad? And all the while, and every time they ask that question to you, you say, it's not ready, but it's coming. And you know that we are talking about Advent, and we look towards Christmas as a way to say, this is coming. And yet even more than that, there is a day that is coming for all of us when his dawn breaks into the darkness of our world. This recipe is up there. It's also on a bit of paper. And I take a bit of a paper home. Honestly, all you need is a bowl and a pot. What are the pots with a lid called? What's that? Dutch oven. Thank you for reading it, Jenny. I did read. Anyway. Come and do something practical. Come and teach yourself what waiting looks like. As a sign of entering into Advent, as a liturgy. And then at the end of it, and this is really important. While you do it, at the start and at the end, talk with your kids. Talk with yourself. Read something. Read Psalm 130. Read Matthew's account of the birth of Jesus. Read it in Luke. Just sit. Tell yourself the Christmas story as you wait. Remind each other of God's faithful love to you in all of this. Before we do communion, we're a favorite artist. There's an Australian artist called Sons of Korah, and they've taken it along among themselves, as many others, to rewrite, to put music to the Psalms. Many have done it, and what we're going to do is we're going to listen to their rendition of Psalm 130, just as a way of listening and reflecting and waiting. And I'd invite you to come and do that with us. After that, and I know we're a little bit stretched for time, but after that, we're going to come and we're going to sing a carol, because Advent is carol season, and the carol we're going to sing is O Come, Emmanuel. We're going to look forward to him coming. And so what we're going to do, first, we're going to watch and listen to this psalm. After that, Jez and his team will be ready, and they'll play for us. So something's playing. Oh, it's Jeremy playing. Sorry. Not yet, Jeremy. So we'll listen to this one, and then after that, Jeremy will come and lead us in a carol, and anytime you like, from that point, come and take communion. But sing the song as you come. Look towards Jesus as you come. Pray that his day would come sooner. God, would your light enter our world? God, would you bring that day sooner? God, would you come back? Jesus, would you come back for us all? Praise God. Psalm 130.